So putting together a new Bluetooth speaker that I wanted to do with some of these like more quality or more expensive components, these Tang Band speakers and a subwoofer. And I was just seeing if I could use any of the amps I had on hand. This is the TDA3110. Unfortunately, that's only a 2-channel amp, but it works really well in terms of the Bluetooth implementation. Then the only other amp I had that could fit the bill was this TDA2030. This is the original model. It does have 2.1 and it has dedicated subwoofer out. I think it's supposed to be 2x6 with 25 to the sub. But in any event, I like the way it sounds with those speakers. I've got them both hooked up to the same types of speakers now, so I could do a side-by-side comparison of them. You can see the quiescent current is about 50 milliamps, 51 milliamps, which is already twice of what that is, and that's because of the implementation here. This doesn't have built-in Bluetooth. So running it at 12 volts, I had to put in a small buck converter over here, which those can be noisy sometimes. I could probably get by with, like a linear converter, but for now, that's just what I threw on there. This separate Bluetooth module, and then the amp itself, right, which is a Class AB amplifier. And granted, this is just a mess of wires here, but I don't know if you can hear this. A lot of times when going through all these separates, you get kind of a noisy, you just get more noise than you do. And so there are a couple ways around that. Likely some of that noise is obviously in my connection there, but some of the noise is also, I think, coming from that buck converter. So there's also an isolated converter that I ordered. So we'll try that out in a couple of days when that arrives. So the other question was, do you need a subwoofer? And is it worth it? And strictly speaking, no, of course you don't need it. There are tons of Bluetooth speakers that sound great, without a subwoofer. Is it worth it? It's very subjective. I think this was a pretty expensive driver. I think that was $40 or $38.50 from Parts Express. I think it sounds pretty well. The other thing too, if you're going to mess with a sub, you really need to focus on the enclosure. You can get by with, putting together cheaper, lighter Bluetooth speakers, but when you start playing with, a dedicated sub, actually you might be surprised by the excursion and how this thing actually sounds. It sounds better, even for its small size. I'm going to have to put a pretty good enclosure together here. You can see if I turn the bass up. All right, thanks. I hope this helps somebody out, and have a great day. Hope you're okay.